Back here on Bernie and Sid in the morning, we put this time aside every week for a guy that our most popular segment of the week. The fans love him. We love him. The great Bo Dietl. And I do want folks to check out the podcast, One Tough Podcast, which is doing really, really well on the OG network. Had Anthony Scaramucci 2 weeks ago, Joe Tacopino last week, comedian Joey Diaz this week. Always a fantastic guest. So make sure you check that out. The OG network, Bo Dietl's very popular podcast, One Tough Podcast. And folks, here he is, back in the studio on a Tuesday, the great Bo Dietl. Good morning,
Good morning,
Bo.
guys.
Big Bo.
All I can say is you got to listen to the podcast with Tacopina. We strip away a lot of stuff and we go down to really people that like to know about cases and about what happens in cases. It's a real unveiling of what goes on in the courtroom, and Joe opened up to a lot of things. We talked about cases that we take. You know, I'm a private investigator now, so I take cases. Some I don't take. I had once where this guy was talking to me up by City Island, and he's telling me about, she was 12 years old. She was my daughter's girlfriend. We were on the boat, We had a couple of beers, And I kept listening to him. Mike Saravallo was with me. I'm looking across at him. I said, I know what? Well, one thing led to another thing. 12-year-old girl. I want to bust his face in. I says, Mike, we better get out of here. We ain't taking this case. And we talked about it, me and Joe wouldn't take certain cases.
Well, but a lot of attorneys, you work hand in hand. In other words, the attorney may need you to find out some information about a client. So you work hand in hand with some of these big attorneys.
I work hand in hand, but I got a choice to take cases. Like I wouldn't take that slime bag bucket Harvey Weinstein. That pig, I can't even look at him. He looks like disgusting. That pig should go to jail, that animal.
Those got principles.
In a cell. I do have principles.
Artie Idala's on that case. Your friend Artie Idala's on that case. He's at Weinstein, yeah.
Oh, he's supporting Weinstein.
Yeah.
I like Artie. He has a daughter. I'd like to see how many of his daughters he wants to work for Weinstein.
You're right.
Come on, Arthur. There's pick and choose. Money isn't everything, Artie.
Now, listen, you look very tan this morning. You're always very handsome, always dressed very, very dapper. But I do notice it looks like a Florida tan. I may be wrong, but that's what it looks like.
I really don't want to brag about it, but just ask me where I was at 12:30 outside. Just ask me.
Go ahead, twist his arm.
I was in West Palm Beach. Just ask me. I was with probably one of the great presidents of the United States and our current president, the great Donald Trump. We were sitting next to each other for lunch. He had the governor of Florida with him, DeSantis is his name.
That's
what
right.
a cool guy that guy is. Cool, and the president was really cool, and we talked about a few things, and I tell you right now, I'm jumping on board. We got to fight, because if they ever take him out of office and don't get him reelected, we're in for a heap of trouble. We got kids. I got a grandson. I want this country to be strong for everybody. And you want to know something? In reality, there are a couple of issues that I've been dealing with. I don't want to talk about them right now, but I got a couple of really great ideas for president. And you know what? It was exciting. It took me, I went to the airport at 1 o'clock on Friday. It took me 11 o'clock flight, 4 hours down there because the headwinds with the storm. But I fought. I stood awake. I said, I'm not missing this day with the president. And I was very honored to be with the president at the Trump International Golf Course. And we had the chief of staff, pretty cool guy. And
what did the president say about Bernie and Sid?
Yeah, well, he loves you guys. You know that. We hear you still. How come you guys don't run that thing, that sound piece?
Did you go to Mar-a-Lago or Doral?
No. I stayed at the Breakers.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't go to Mar-a-Lago. I was an original member, but we went to the golf club at 12:30. Nice. But let's get on some local issues here.
Let's do this.
This thing that is supposed to be a Judge Ellen Edwards, with this guy with the gun, releasing him to do an essay or something. How dare you? You're a disgrace. And you want to know something? All I know is I won't drive through Brooklyn, so you ain't got no shot at getting me. But you're a disgrace to let these people out. And she goes on. She has a history of this with shootings and no bails. I mean, you know what I'd like? I'd like one of these gangbangs to rob her butt. Let her get robbed by one of them that she released. That would be great.
The guy's a Crip. He had he was arrested 4 times before, and once with a gun.
Yeah.
And she says, come back and write an essay, no bail.
Right. This is what we're dealing with right now. This that calls herself a judge. It's disgraceful. And my friend de Blasio just just keeps on tuning in. It's like herpes. He keeps coming back every week. Hey, $173 million to his friends here. These guys, George Defoni and Jay and Stuart Pulowski and Frank Carbone Plughead over here. All these, you see him there? He had a bad plug job. And all I can say is, listen to me. The U.S. Attorney in the Southern District opened up a new case. The Department of Investigation said he continuously takes pay for play. Where are we going to stop this nonsense? This big 6'7" pig face. All of a sudden, he leaves Upper East Side. He gets in that big SUV, 5 SUVs flying down to Brooklyn. He wastes 4 hours a day traveling backward. He walks on the treadmill. He's got arms that look like friggin' string beans. You know what he should be doing? Do some push-up, you big bird creep, and do them at home. Do some sit-ups. You got Asphalt Green right across the street. You got to go all the way to Brooklyn and waste this city's time. You're a disgrace. Yeah, why don't you go to Iowa and have 3 people throw up on you? You and your lovely wife there. Nobody wants to see you or your wife with the $800 million that she took for mental health. Where? Oh, my heart's okay. I went for a thallium stress test. I'm clear as a bell.
You look
actually went for I went for the thing where they went up the heart. What do they call it? Angioplasty.
Oh, good.
They went through my wrist. He said it's clear open. So you guys said I didn't look good the other day?
No, you
I feel great.
Today
baby.
You look good with that Florida tan. You look
look really
well.
good.
You got that gold watch, man.
Yeah.
Look at you. You're like
brothers,
like $1 million bucks.
The
2
bracelet, the
brother's bracelet. That's
beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
listen, Bernie Sanders says that he wants the Boston bomber to be able to vote. What do you say to that?
Well, I love Boston. I have a lot of friends in Boston. I really, truly do. You know what? This puke, we should ship him and his wife back to Boston. He wants a Bernie Sanders, first of all, is living in another world. Ben and Jerry, those 2 freaks from Vermont.
That's right.
They're his
originally
best friends.
Queens.
Freak 1 and Freak 2, right? Fudgemento, they develop all these flavors. They put a little crack cocaine in it, whatever they do.
What?
Don't they have one called Open Crack Cherry?
Oh,
or
sure.
something? Or Open Her Crack Up Cherry? What is that called?
It's called chocolate crack, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, but you know, now you get this thing with De Blasio.
Caramel crack.
There you go.
Caramel crack. Right. You know, every part of De Blasio's whole existence is corruption. And when I ran for mayor, I exposed him for what he is. Why was he able to beat this? And now a new investigation, he said, oh, that's old stuff. Bullcrap. The new investigation by the Department of Investigation shows his pay for play. You want to get something done in New York City? Just take care of him. And I still want an investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office of almost $800 million of mental health funds going to these private concerns, these what do they call them, non-profit groups. I'd like to see if there's an earmark back, money there, money being evaluated back into the pocket of Mrs. de Blasio, Mr. Blasio. I challenge you, Mr. de Blasio, to go before the city council under oath to find out what the hell's going on with all that money that your wife had been there. Your wife doesn't know where it went. Maybe you know where it went. Maybe you can tell us where all that money is. $800 million. I can take care of some cops and some families, some veterans' families.
Just real quick, did you, back in the day, you were banging Kate Smith in the early 80s?
Yeah.
Did she ever utter racist comments?
No, you want to know something? Look, we were talking about something that happened in the 1930s. Was it right? No.
You talked to her about it?
Nobody agrees on it, but I heard you were going down on Kate Smith. Was that true? Well, listen to me, Bernie. Seriously, that's 1930s. Things were, blackface was accepted and all that. All right, it wasn't right, but should we take a person's history away?
No.
That was something, and I'm against it 100%. But to go after somebody when she sang this beautiful song that I've many times at Yankee Stadium with the great George Steinbrenner I was with, to listen to her sing that song on the recording, how wonderful. What are we going to take away next? Let's stop the nonsense. All right, it was bad, but you can't condemn a person for something that was acceptable back in the 1930s. It's not that she was a racist. She sang a song. And when you look at, what's his name, Al Jolson with his blackface singing Mammy and all that, from Alabama and all that, what are we going to do? Erase every song?
If she was still alive, she might have become woke. At this stage of the
well, all I can say is that I got somebody doing something.
Yeah, we got to go, Bo. We're out of time.
But listen, make sure you tune in to the OG Network and check out Bo's podcast every week. It's great. He's got the great comedian Jeff Diaz. Last week, go back and listen to Tacopina.
Paul.
What do you say?
Joey Diaz.
Joey Diaz.
Oh, yeah,
Excuse
that
me. Takapina and Scaramucci. One Tough Podcast on the OG Podcast Network. The great Bo Dietl. We'll come in right back.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Big Bo.
Bernie and Sid in the morning, 77 WABC.